Put your phones away.
Four strikes. Four strikes.
Okay.
Walk to first base.
Alright, so this is for the pre-AP class. That's why I'm recording in here, because it's a little different than regular as far as what all we cover. So you get to hear extra. The first problems are an extension of what we did yesterday at the very end with the sum and difference of cubes. So we started out the same. We're just going to keep going with it. So you need to write it as something cubed plus something cubed. What goes in those blanks? 3x and 1. Very good. Because 3 cubed makes 27, x cubed makes x cubed, and 1 cubed makes 1. So in our formula, we'll replace the a's with 3x, and we'll replace the b's with 1. Which formula will we use, top or bottom? The top one, because it's plus.
How do you know which one?
Because the sign. Is it an addition problem or a subtraction problem?
Addition.
Okay, so we're just filling in this right side. So we will have, instead of a plus b, we have 3x plus 1. Instead of a squared, I will have 3x in parentheses squared, because all of 3x equals a.
9x squared.
Yes, you will get 9x squared. Minus a, which is 3x, times b, which is 1, plus b squared, which is 1 squared. And this equals 0. Any questions on that?
No. What's the left side of the equation?
That's what this is. This is the left side. So we're just replacing it with the right side. All right. Let's simplify. So as Landry said, the 3x all squared makes 9x squared. And then we have minus 3x and plus 1. That's how far we got yesterday. Now we're going to keep going, and we're actually going to solve. So we're going to break it apart and say that 3x plus 1 equals 0. And then 9x squared minus 3x plus 1 also equals 0. The right one is pretty simple. And yeah, I mean the left one. Sorry, move 1 to the other side. We get 3x equals negative 1. Divide by 3. X equals negative 1 over 3. That is one of your answers.
Awesome. How many did we get?
3.
Wait, how come there's only 2 equations?
Ooh.
Are you about to blow our mind?
What about? No, you've actually done this before. Okay, don't write this part down because it's not going to work. Do you hear me? Did you hear me? Don't write this down because it's not going to work. If you do the x, 9 is on top, negative 3 is in the bottom. Are there any numbers that would work for that?
Probably not.
There's not.
Nope.
There are no numbers that work for that. So we're not going to use that.
And 1.
No.
You need a bigger eraser.
Okay, so what we have to do is either complete the square or quadratic formula. Which do you want to do? Quadratic formula. Oh, I was guessing you would say that.
What's the way? What is square?
I'll show you later if you want to. Okay, when you plug in, 9 will be A, negative 3 will be B, 1 is C. All right, so x equals big fraction, negative b, so negative times negative 3. Plus or minus square root, and we have negative 3 squared for b, squared, minus 4 times what's a? 9, and what's c? 1, all over 2 times a, which was 9. Now we just got to go through and simplify. So the 3 at the beginning ends up positive because double negative.
Dude, who spends like all their time trying to figure out
formulas just to make math easier for us.
Smart people.
I don't know. 9, what, minus 36 over, yeah, it's all over 18.
So you came up with this, Coach Carter?
I did not come up with this.
So you're taking full credit for this?
I am not taking any credit for
Full
this.
credit.
No
Try to
credit.
Pass it off as your own and then.
No credit. All right. What's 9 minus 36?
27.
Okay. Let's break our 27 down. What can we break it down into?
I.
9 and 3, 3 and 3. So we got a pair.
Square root of 3.
Yeah.
3. 3i squared root 3.
3. Plus or minus? 3. I, where did the I come from?
It's a negative.
The negative right here. Okay, square root of 3 stays all over 18. Now all we have to do is reduce.
We can't reduce, can
We can reduce.
Okay.
3 divided by 18.
When 3 goes into 18,
6.
we're left with 6. So this turns into 1, this turns into 1, and that turns into a 6. So the answer would be x equals 1 plus or minus I square root of 3 all over 6. Remember, you cannot reduce with what's inside the radical. You got to wait till you bring something outside.
Work I've done for a proposition.
What would I want to
Oh,
do?
you have
with this?
several of those on your homework.
What would I want to do with this thing?
Your homework.
Okay, in the real world.
If you do this in
Any questions over example 4? Back. So for the back of the notes, Hunter, Landry, we are going to factor actually quartic equations. But the deal is we're not used to quartic, right? We're used to quadratics and we're kind of used to cubic. But we want this to look like a quadratic. So what you're going to do, just go with me here, is we're going to fill this in and make it look like a quadratic. Okay, those parentheses would be where x goes. What goes in those? What squared makes x to the 4th?
12.
X
Squared.
Squared. And then x squared would go here as well. So what we're going to do, we're actually going to make that disappear by replacing it with another letter. Give me a letter.
C.
C, okay.
8.
C will equal x squared. So I'm going to have c squared minus 2c minus 8. And that looks easier to deal with. Make your x. What goes in the top?
So why do we put c squared times negative?
Yeah, why do we put C? That's
Yeah.
my question.
It seems pointless.
All right, let me go backwards.
Oh wait.
Oh wait, C.
C
equals
is x squared, and x squared square would be weird. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
You just blew my mind.
we
So-
brought our equation from a quartic down to a quadratic just for simplicity's sake in dealing with it. At the very end, we'll go back. Okay, so in our factoring x here, what goes at the top? Negative 8, and in the bottom is negative 2. So what are our numbers?
Negative 4 and 2.
Negative 4 and 2. Very good.
Aren't you smart?
So negative 4 over 1 and 2 over 1. And they're reduced. So now we can write them as, what are my factors?
X minus 4, x plus 2.
Except we're using c.
C.
C minus 4 and c plus 2.
That's why I said C.
So x squared minus 4 and x squared minus
Yeah.
2?
So now reverse and put x squared back in. So we get x squared minus 4 and x squared plus 2. All right. Now, for most of the problems on your homework, you will be able to stop at this point, except for the special cases when you have a negative perfect square. Like here, it's negative 4. You can actually keep going with these. Anything like this, you don't have to worry about. So,
You can, but you don't want to.
no, we will. All right, so if negative 4 is on the top, b isn't there, so it's a 0. What numbers Go. No.
4 and negative.
Wall.
Negative.
-2, -2.
-2 and
Two.
+2.
How do you know if you can stop it?
The only time you will keep going is if you have minus a square. So if it says -4, -1, -9, -16, -25.
So, not -4.
Yeah, so that's when we
So
keep
it's
going.
x squared plus 2 and then x squared minus 2.
And
It's
then X,
actually
and
just
then-
x minus 2, x plus 2, and then the x squared plus 2.
Don't they cancel out?
No.
Oh, no.
I mean, you could write those in any order, but I was just keeping track of it. And that is fully factored.
Sweet. So that's our answer?
That is your answer.
I'm gonna need a bigger square. Stupid.
I can just skip
Wait,
some
can
steps.
you explain the very last part
Then
again?
write the answer.
Yes. From here?
Fit it. Just write like microscopic.
All right, so looking at this, if you have one that says x squared minus a perfect square number, so like 4, 9, so on and so forth, then you can keep going with that one. So we kept going and we factored it. This was C, so a times c was -4. There's no b term, so we put 0, -2 into multiply to get -4, add to get 0.
But then 2 doesn't work, so those just split up and then you leave the others?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions on that one?
You wouldn't have to do it like that though, could you? Don't have to do that x thing, you can pretty much just do that.
Yeah,
X minus 2x.
yeah, definitely. Okay, y'all want to do the next one together, or you want to try it on your own?
I think try it together.
Try it together. Okay,
You put x squared, squared.
plus 7 times squared plus 6. What letter you want to use this time?
Z. Can I write
Z equals
Q,
x squared.
Q.
So z squared plus 7z
Why are we
plus
using
6.
Because Z's better than
Zebra.
It's a letter.
Zebra and zebras aren't racist because they're black and white.
All right, so now we're ready to factor. What goes on top?
6,
What goes on bottom?
7,
What are our numbers?
3.
6 and 1 is correct. So we have 6 over and 1 over what?
1z.
1z, because they are reduced. So my factors are what?
6 and 1.
No, like
Z plus 6 and Z.
z plus 1. Okay.
That's it.
No, we didn't start the problem with z's, so we can't end it with z's.
X squared plus 6, x squared
So put it
plus
back.
1.
All right, x squared plus 6,
Now that's it.
x squared plus 1. Do you have any minus perfect squares?
No.
Nope. So these are done.
So
It's
if
a
you have
6.
positive perfect square, you can just.
All right,
Charge your iPad.
one more problem. You ready, or do you have questions?
I have questions.
Tell
How
me.
long will it take for 10% of your iPad to die?
A while. Okay.
Well then let's make this take a while.
So now we're going to use what we just did to actually solve this polynomial. So get it down to x equals and have answers. So I need everything on one side of the equation.
So move the other 12.
Move the 12 over. What? So x squared squared
We use Xi.
minus x squared minus 12 equals 0. You want z again?
Yes.
Z-A-Y.
Okay, z equals x squared. So what is my quadratic equation?
X equals Z
No.
My pencil
Z
minus Z
My Z's look like 2, so I don't like this.
equals
Do I have to write it? I have to write it on Z?
You don't have to use z. You can use something else.
Limit's
Can we use
different.
Bay?
All right, let's factor. What goes in the top?
-12.
In the bottom?
1.
-1. Alright. What do we got?
-4 and 3.
-4 and 3, very good. What is my denominator?
1C.
1
Z.
Z. Alright, so my factors are
Square minus 4.
Z minus 4 and Z plus 3. Alright, go ahead and replace those with your x squared. Can we keep going with either one of them? Yes. Do you already know what that one's going to be?
Yes.
Minus
2
2
and
and
negative
negative
2.
Plus 2 and minus 2. Very good. And remember that this equals 0. I kind of lost track of that. I got to bring it back. Now, questions? Okay, so if we're solving for 0, what do we do?
I don't know.
I don't know what to do after this.
We're solving for x, not
You
solving for
subtract
0.
2, or
yeah,
you
add
make them
2
all
or
equal to
add
0.
0.
Make them, no,
You flip the sign.
make them all equal to 0 and solve.
You pretty much just flip the sign.
Wait, we did this.
So x equals, yep,
Negative.
-2, x equals +2. Now this one we gotta do a little more work.
Ew.
It's square root of 3.
Square root, yep, you're right.
Square root of 3.
I square root of 3.
I squared of 3, but you've forgotten something.
What have we forgotten? What? Mine.
Plus or minus.
Plus or minus, because you took square root of both sides. So how many answers do you have? What was the original degree of the problem? 4. That'll help you remember.
Wait, we have 4? There's only 3.
Plus
No.
minus is 2 and
1, 2, 3, 4. Any questions?
Do I have to serve all